What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show for dads, fathers, and male caregivers that's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that movement, we've reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers since 2020. And I'm speaking it that by the end of this year or early next year, I will say that's going to be 500,000. Hello, hello, hello. So as always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. We're broadcasting live on the first day of November, as they say en français, November, en anglais, 2025. And we definitely are in the fall weather mode here in Toronto. One of the things I don't like about fall, I have a next door neighbor. I love the family dearly, but they have a huge maple tree in their front yard. And guess what happens to all the leaves when it gets windy? Who has to rake up? And I have nothing against it, but this year's been okay because I haven't had that many leaves to rake up. So I'm going, yes, yes. Or is a lady named Karma J, someone that LaLa will go, yes, 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 would say, yes, yes, yes. But it's not about me. We are here with two wonderful queens, Aisha K. Staggers, LaLa Key, for Primetime Saturday. And ladies, before you speak, want to do something that's only proper? Had to do the gong. There's another one. Two gongs, ladies, two gongs. What's going on?
Oh,
you never were on the gong show, so I said, let me just give you a gong, you know?
it's been a week.
It has been.
It's been a year. We already done lived 10 years in 9 months, 11 months.
I know. Oh my gosh.
All right. I always like to do this. And we had such a good appetizer last week. So give us a win that you've had in the last week.
Family. We've kicked off the holiday season and spending time with family.
So you're already in holiday season, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I am. You know, that's very, very rare for me. I love all holidays. I like my holidays in order. But for some reason, in the last 2 years, I have gone the way of let it all come at one time. I'm good. And I'm okay with that. I don't know if I'll ever return back to, listen, I like them in order, whatever. But I am okay with that because I just feel like we need more love. And holidays feel lovey-dovey to me. And I guess that's what I'm really craving.
Okay. Aisha?
I got my daughter's birthday present. That was because I was stressing about her birthday is November 10th, and it always sneaks up on me.
Okay. Should I give you one?
Yes.
All right. Well, I notice, so every recording or every live stream I do, I listen back to it. And I noticed for the last week or two, my audio wasn't on it. It sounded like it was hollow. And I found out that my mixer or my Rodecaster Pro wasn't set up properly. So I spent yes, it wasn't set up properly. I think if you go and listen to the last one or two shows, it sounds like what was happening is there's another microphone that's around the corner that was picking me up instead of the microphone that I'm using here.
Oh, that's crazy.
So if you are a regular of this show, tell me if I sound richer than I have in the weird, not sound like I'm off in the corner. And I said, yes, that was a win. Also, I'm trying to keep up with LaLa in regards to the world of AI.
Yeah,
And
it's fun.
so here's my throw out to you, LaLa. I'm in the process of creating my own AI chat agent.
Oh, you're going that road. Wow.
And we can chat offline, but there's a site where you can do it for free.
Wow, we love free. Mm, we love free.
Yeah, I was at a conference this week, and there's a number of speakers. One guy was showing us how to, if you subscribe to Microsoft, which I don't, and he was showing how you can sync your Copilot to your AI chat and all that. I said to him after, hey, can I give you a call and just have a walkthrough on how you do this? I said, no problem. But I went online, took that extra step, and I saw there's a site where you can set up a AI agent for free.
Love it. Love it. It's a time and a place for it. I have a love and hate relationship with it. I do not like what they're doing with AI artists,
Yes.
you know, for vocalists and singers and musicians. However, I have seen some AI artists doing some absolutely amazing things with their art. So I have a love-hate relationship, knowing that I can use it for business in good ways, but I've also seen a lot of bad ways lately. And so it's kind of like, oh, I hate to love you. What's that song that Dinosaur saying? Oh, I love to love you, baby.
Yes. Man. So pop quiz for anyone's watching this live on replay. Does anyone have that album on vinyl?
Yes.
The whole first side is that song. I think, you know what? Is it just that song, side 1 and side 2?
Pretty much.
Oh, I know the first side. It was that. But yeah, it just like, yeah, so I'm having fun with this AI stuff, as you can see. And yeah, it's pretty cool. But now here's the one that, LaLa, what is your thoughts about Suno?
I have a love-hate relationship with that. I don't like the fact that it's one of those situations where you let the cat out of the bag and you can't put the cat back in. Because it is being used to racially divide us. And it seems like I see a lot of that happening with the fake EBT stories, with the fact that Sister Bernice King had to write into them and be like, you know, even on his speeches, she's trying to get all that in. So
Suno's,
it's a mess that we can't fix.
Yeah, Suno's the one where you can make music. Like right,
but they're using his voices as well from his speeches.
And they're making deep fakes that for now people put the watermark on it, but there's going to come a point where people can pay to not put the watermark on it. And that's where the problem's going to come, particularly in a country like this, where it's like we've abandoned truth for propaganda.
Well, Sora is doing that, and that's a part of OpenAI ChatGPT.
Right.
But Suno is music, but still you can clone people's voices.
Yeah. Like I've seen people are really blending the two, because I've seen ones, for example, of people making Michael Jackson videos, and they're making new songs with Michael Jackson, using the blending the video with it, and that's the thing, is that once you put these two things together, it's a mess. It's going to be a huge mess. But even on the music front, I mean, you're going to basically, Michael Jackson's estate did that with that album. They already tested it out, and we saw how that goes. But then you have what is it? There's a band right now, actually, the AI band that.
There's several.
There's several, but there's the big one in particular that really blew up. It's a problem.
It's a problem. But you know, it's interesting because you bring that up, but which movie was it? I can't think. It was an author of a very popular movie, Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones, the writer of Game of Thrones. People went on and made different versions of Game of Thrones with different endings, and he sued and won because that was infringement upon his whole thing. So that came out this week that he had to fight for his rights on that.
Well, guess who was alive? If they were alive, would be looking like, and everybody was mad at me for suing fans. Prince.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, Prince was suing fans for doing these things on social media with his videos.
That's
and it's kind of if you look at it now, it's like, well, that was very forward thinking, because that's the way people are only going to be able to protect content.
Right.
He was so forward thinking, because I remember he said, don't let the computer control you. You control the computer. Or
That's
digital.
right.
And he said that so long ago.
Yeah. I mean, even going back 30 years ago when he was talking, well, almost 35 years ago now, when he was talking about the music business and how all of this was going to be a problem. Like, people don't know the difference.
And here we are.
Fake and reality, and here we are.
And our politicians are so tuned in and know what to do on this.
I mean, the only thing that I enjoy are the taking of the hip hop songs and putting them back in 50s and 60s style, and giving them a different sound. I'm like, kind of like, that's interesting, because you actually hear the lyrical content in a different way, but that's a novelty,
Right.
That's not somebody taking, it's like, what would this sound like if it was back in this time? That's not somebody saying, oh, I'm going to take this and make an album of Ludacris's songs in this 1950 style, package it up, and sell it.
Right.
So I'm gonna shift the topic a little bit to something more smiley. I'm thinking, well, I live about an hour and 15 minutes drive from Niagara Falls, and Niagara Falls, Ontario, and also Niagara Falls, New York. But Niagara Falls, Ontario, they have a performing venue that holds, I think, about 3,000 or 4,000 people. And I'm thinking next year of going. They already have the tickets on sale. I'm thinking about going to see a great double bill. Will Downing opening up for Jeffrey Osborne.
Oh, what a good pairing.
And I'm thinking, should I go? Should I
Yes.
go?
Yes.
Yes.
Because I plan on going to Boys to Men, New Edition, and Tony Braxton when they're in New York in March.
Hello.
March 14th.
No, because I'm saying, well, but I'd have to run a replay. But I'm saying, yeah, and I'm going that they haven't sold too many seats. I'm going, but it's because I am a huge Will Downing fan.
Go and have fun.
Get seats and sit up right in the front. Like when my cousin took me to see Grover Washington Jr., she said, I want to sit so close that the spit from the saxophone, I can see it.
Grover Washington, you saw him live?
I saw him live at Foxwoods Casino.
Oh, wow.
That was like, what, 98, 99?
If I have your permission to interrupt, that's where Gordon Ramsay is holding his Hell's Kitchen for his competition for the last 2 years.
Yeah. Foxwoods. We have two casinos, Foxwoods and Mohegan Sun. Mohegan Sun is where the Connecticut Sun WNBA team plays their home games.
Yeah.
And, there's all kinds of things. And that's one of the last concerts Prince performed here, was at Mohegan Sun.
Wow. Well, before we go to break, if people are up for, I had a little bit of a challenging week because my homeland went through quite the catastrophe.
Yes.
On Wednesday in regards to the hurricane. I can't remember the name of the hurricane because it was just like, don't remember the name.
Melissa, I think it was.
And no family members are hurt, but the damage is crazy. Our family home, water upstairs, water downstairs.
Oh, boy.
My uncle, who lives across the street from us, his roof was blown off and all the windows of his home were blown in.
Oh.
For a day, for 2 days, they basically, him, his wife, and his son could only stay in one room in their house.
Oh my God.
So if anyone is praying, we would please pray for Jamaica, because the devastation that's happened there, it's going to take a generation to recover. I found it quite interesting that 47 said he's going to donate and help. I'll believe it when I see it, but it's been a bit of challenging time.
You're not going to get that donation because why? Because the United States barely covered it was like, well, there's going to be a hurricane. But after it landed, there was no coverage of the damage or anything like that in any of our mainstream media regularly, like it should have been.
True. There was some, but not what it should have been. I agree. That I agree 150%. And yeah, so just seeing videos people sent for me down there, just go like the streets are full of mud.
Oh Lord.
Like transportation, there's you have a cousin, they have a really nice place in Jamaica where you can go on a bamboo raft down the river. And it's so beautiful. And you stop, and then you can get, if you want, you can get your legs massaged with limestone.
Oh, limestone.
And I can feel it right now, that experience. It was so wonderful. And she showed me that their resort thing it's devastated. It's just like devastated, gone. It's just like cray.
So sorry to hear that.
Well, we shall rise. We shall rise. So that's that. Don't know if we got anything else on the appetizer plate. Anything else we want to chat about before we go to break and get into another interesting week?
We got a lot this week.
And I am actually, I saw today our prime minister apologized to the president of the United States for that ad that came out, which I'm still a little bit disappointed because that's exactly what 47 wants. But we got to talk politics on the other side of this. Let's take a break. And when we come back, we'll do a little housekeeping, and then we'll say hello to one or two people, and then we'll get into stories. So let's go to our first break.
Watch Black Canada Talking live on Sundays at 5 p.m. Eastern, where Cesar and Dima Musa gives his takes and POVs on news stories from a Black Canadian perspective. You won't want to miss it.
All right, we are back on a Primetime Saturday on November. Man, it does like seeing that November 1st.
November 1st hit you like a ton of bricks, didn't it?
Yeah, like you're almost done, family. Like it's going to be 2026 soon.
Yeah.
But that's going to be now that's going to be an interesting year.
Girlfriends chat. Aisha, LaLa, and Jill Jones at Patreon. There's the link there. Also, the Substack link is there. The store, the link is there. Join our Discord group. Email me at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. And then the Discord, you can go to the Discord link directly there. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show and hit the notification button. I'm putting it out there. If you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love you to, because I'd like to, your Christmas gift to me, if you haven't subscribe so I can get to 2,000 subscribers. There's the gift you can give to me. And also follow the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Substack. Want to advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms? Email me dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. Cannot forget Dr. Tashe. I like to say Tashe. And our Indie Soup Media channel, over 28,000 YouTube subscribers. Realize that only 4% of all YouTube channels have over 10,000 subscribers. So check it out. Also go to the website, indiesoupmedia.tv. Let's do this. We got some people in the house we want to acknowledge. Enlightened Beings, hello family, still shut down and still not getting paid. We're going to get to that in a moment. Jen Myers, what is up? Jen Myers in the house. Regina says, hey, I didn't get a notice and took a while to find you because the search title is different. Yeah, you know what's interesting? Regina, this is why you got to hit the notification button, Regina. Then you get notified, because in the past, I used to put the Dr. Vibe Show in a title. Well, Nick Niman said he reviewed my channel, so that was fantastic. Yeah. LaLa, we got to talk offline. He does that.
Oh, wow. You got him to do that?
Yeah, on a Saturday show, if you're up to it, he'll review his channel, give his input. And what he said is, Dr. Vibe, take out the Dr. Vibe Show, put in very tight YouTube channel titles for SEO. So Regina, don't tell me you haven't subscribed to the channel now. Is that what you're saying? You haven't subscribed? No, I love you too much. I'm going to give you any drama. But there you go. And she says, I usually do get notifications. Well, I posted this up last night, so I don't know why you didn't get notifications. So, but you're here now. And because Regina's here, I'm always going to say, this is the Regina alert. When are you calling in, Regina? So if you go to not just Regina, callme.road.com. And once you click on that, which is right on your screen, put in FSP L8L. Then you go to this screen here, put in your name. I think I've got a name. Yeah, there we go. And then put join call, and we will get you live in. So that's another Christmas gift I'm asking for Regina. I want you to call in before the end of the year. Is that possible? I'm not saying, I'm just saying. All right, let's get to it. So our first conversation piece, in the US, SNAP benefits, more commonly known as food stamps. Actually, you know what? Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me go back. Hold on. Let me do it properly, the way I like to do it. So let's do it this way.
Our first story is, in the U.S., SNAP benefits, more commonly known as food stamps, are set to lapse today, November 1st.
There we go. SNAP benefits, more commonly known as food stamps, are set to lapse today, November 1st. Ladies, what? You know what? And I'm going to let you take over in a second, but it blew my mind that the number of Americans that use SNAP benefits. I couldn't believe it. Is it 40 million people?
Yeah, and I've got a breakdown for you. So I went ahead and did some research on the numbers. So I want to break those down before we get into this story, because some of these things just may shock people. So it's 41.7 million people who use SNAP. And that's about 1 in 8 Americans. Nearly 80% of those households include a child, a senior, or someone living with a disability. 39% are kids, 19% are seniors, and the rest are adults just trying to make ends meet, and they're often working the low-wage jobs. Now, around 60% of the families with children on SNAP are working, but their paychecks don't stretch far enough to cover the food bills. So here's the racial breakdown, and this may surprise you. About 35% are white, 26% are Black, 16% are Hispanic. The rest are Asian, Native American, multiracial communities. So it's not just one type of American. It's actually a mirror of what our country is. And many SNAP recipients work for giant corporations like Walmart and Amazon. Walmart alone has thousands of employees who need public assistance just to eat. So taxpayers are basically subsidizing billion-dollar payrolls, and the people who are in these big corporations are not paying a living wage. And guess what? This also includes our military. About 1.2 million veterans receive veterans and active duty, but a small amount of active duty members use SNAP to keep food on the table. Now, especially since we have this government shutdown, of course, they're going to need assistance. Our military, who is protecting our country, need to be paid and to make sure that they can feed their families. So, a judge has had to step in and try to force this, but it's still up in the air today because of the government shutdown. But without that ruling, many millions of people are going to go hungry during this holiday season. So I wanted to at least introduce, as we go into the story, the true numbers of what's out there about this program, because basically the GOP wants to punish anyone and everyone because they're not getting their way about the Democrats coming in and changing the healthcare system. So this is nothing but a carrot dangle of, we'll give you what you want if you do what we want. And this is not how our government should work. People's lives and livelihoods and bellies. Are you kidding me? You're going to send our children to school hungry. It's just not fair. Meanwhile, we've got orange shit pants up there having 20s Gatsby style dinners in Margot, whatever his name is, Margot, Lago, Oompa Loompa Land, whatever you call it. He's down there with $1 million plates, and who's there? Amazon, Walmart, all the big ones who are also encouraging their employees to sign up for these benefits because they don't want to pay them.
Well, I mean, I'm just writing down my last thought so I don't forget it. The thing about it too, I think that I'm glad you brought the point about people who like work for corporations like Walmart, because who get public assistance, because that's part of what this shutdown is about too. Because you have those people who will not, either they're in a catch-22, because remember, Walmart has this strategy where they will not hire people full-time. They will hire them for a maximum of 35 hours, because at 37 and a half, it's full-time and they have to give them health care. And so a lot of people who work for Walmart and work as close to full-time as they can get at 35 hours, they still get public assistance, because you have to remember the minimum wage varies by state to state.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those red states, minimum wage doesn't even clear $10. Okay. So they're getting public assistance for SNAP benefits to help make ends meet, like LaLa said, but then also they also have to get the public health care like Medicaid, because Walmart won't give them enough hours to cover them for health care. So this shutdown, either they give up their food assistance or they give up their health care. And the bottom line is Trump is also looking for an off-ramp, because, and I said this to LaLa and Jill in our chat yesterday, he's looking for an off-ramp for this, because the one thing that most people are unaware of is that in 2 weeks, they will have to go through this again. Mm-hmm. Because this shutdown happened because they wanted to pass this contingency bill to get them through November 15th or 17th. That was all it was going to be. And then they would have to start this whole thing over again. Because remember, they're going to keep doing continuing resolutions. Like I said, two or three shows ago, continuing resolutions back to back to back until that bill that they passed, the budget bill that they passed, kicks in December of 2026. And they're going to keep doing the continuing resolutions because they want to keep Democrats in this struggle hold until the election next year. They are trying to win an election. And what has them scared right now is that their people are seeing it. That's why you have Marjorie Taylor Greene out here on social media telling Mike Johnson, that's not what I said about this in our private meeting. And this is what was said in our private meeting of Republicans only about the SNAP benefits, and that you don't have a health care plan. The reason that you're not coming to the table is because you don't have a health care plan. And she's talking about, I've been in Congress all this time and I haven't seen a Republican health care plan. So all of this is coming out at the same time. So I'm really glad that you mentioned that. And I'm glad you also brought up the WHO, because I said this on my social media. I was having the conversation with my mom, and I said, this is what the Republicans are doing, is exactly what Martin Luther King said in his speech at the end of the Selma to Montgomery March, in terms of how poor white people can't feed their kids, so they give them Jim Crow. They feed them Jim Crow. They fill their bellies with Jim Crow. And this is where we are, because the Republicans will not step in and be like, let's negotiate, because they can't, because Trump won't let them. despite them having total autonomy, because Congress has total autonomy, but they won't step in and do this. So what do they have to do? The only thing that they can do, they are throwing out Jim Crow. They are handing out people Jim Crow instead of their benefits. And they're saying things like, there was a representative, I saw this on a news program last night, and it was his social media post where he had this food pantry stocked. If you get $4,200 in food stamps, this is what you should be able to buy if you spend your money wisely, inferring that people aren't, and that you should always have a month to 2 months worth of extra food in your pantry, et cetera, et cetera. And if you can't survive on $4,200 in food stamps a year, then you don't deserve to be on SNAP. Stop smoking crack. And then you have Tommy Tuberville, who's in Alabama. There's not just Birmingham in Alabama, Tommy, talking about, oh, it's these urban centers, et cetera, et cetera. Well, you know what they have in urban centers that they don't have in your rural areas? Food banks.
Exactly.
They have more grocery stores. And the fact that Walmart and Amazon, like you said, LaLa, were at this dinner and party with him last night, they forget this is going to affect them too, because they will be on the phone at the end of next week talking about, you messed with our money. Because remember, in a majority of these places, where particularly in the rural places where people get SNAP, the only store they have is a Walmart.
That's right. So or it's going to make their bottom line.
Take EBT too and take SNAP too, and Amazon's going to suffer, right?
Yeah.
So they were out there partying it up last night, but their drop off comes next week, week after, especially these 2 weeks right before the Thanksgiving holiday and before Black Friday. Because see, that's the other thing that they forget about too, right? Is that not everybody spends all their money at the first of the month. They're going to spend some the first of the month through Thanksgiving, and then there are going to be some things that they're going to still need to get on Black Friday. So those businesses they're going to feel that hurt. And so it's really rich that they were able to sit up there last night like this doesn't affect them.
And it cost $1 million a seat for that. I want that to be $1 million a seat for that.
Well, look, Jeff Bezos, of course he had it, but you know where he got it from this week? He laid off 14,000 people.
He sure did.
And Aisha, and both you're reading my alleged mind, and I want to spend a few minutes on this because I've done some deep dive in a lot of things that's related and unrelated to this. But I'll get to some comments here. Regina says, Aisha, I missed Ezra and Leah's meeting this week, doctor's appointment, but I'll mention you to them next week. Aisha says 25 of 30 states, 47 carried get most SNAP benefits.
Oh, can I make one real quick point too before you
Take
go on?
Time. I'm not going anywhere.
There's one thing that they did too that was it was evil, and they did it yesterday. States said that we'll tap into our own reserves,
yes,
and give people benefits, and they shut the cards off. They shut it off so that states can't even load benefits on people's cards like they were going to do. That was the most egregious, downright evil part about it yesterday. They stopped the states from being able to, because remember, the way that SNAP is distributed, the money is distributed to the states, and then the states distribute it to people via a card. Right?
Yep.
So states can also take money from their own coffers and put it through this system because they administer it. They shut it off so that the states they block the states from being able to load anything. So now even states who were going to do those things couldn't. Now, I'll tell you something about Connecticut. I was looking at this in the paper yesterday and telling my mother, I said, I think that what they don't realize is Connecticut probably, I believe, because they, with child support, they offer you a state debit card. If you can get your child support on a state debit card or in your bank account, because that's how they collect. child support through the state and they administer it, right? I'm like, what's to stop a state like ours from just giving people benefits that way? It's like it's the stopping of the ability of people to be cared for is the part for me. So they didn't just go beyond their purview. They're stopping states from doing the help.
Which is absolutely cruel and evil.
After telling the states that they need to participate more in this. Okay, that's the other side of it. They're like, well, states need to do this and this and this. And states are like, okay, we can do this. Oh, no, we're not going to let you do it.
25 of the 30 states, 47 carried the most, get the most SNAP benefits. She also says 1 in 5 children are on SNAP.
Yep.
I want both of you to tell me how you feel that 1 in 5 children in America are on SNAP. What does that say about America?
What it's always said about this country, because that statistic, let's be very clear, that statistic is one that has always been pretty bad when it comes to children and food insecurity. You know how we know? Because the Black Panthers had to start a food program in their area to feed children. So we know this is an ongoing thing. We also remember this is something that happened in the 1930s after the Great Depression, right? And we've never really addressed since then how to address our food insecurity. SNAP attempts to do it. And that's how, and people forget, SNAP is connected to the USDA. It's a USDA fund. So it also screws over the farmers because a lot of the products that people can get, the money goes directly to U.S. farmers.
Yes.
So they're also, so he's doubly screwing them because remember, he sent the money to Argentina, and so Argentina can do their soybeans, talking about we're also going to buy our beef from Argentina. Oh, and now you can't get the SNAP benefits that also help you too. So there you go. But farmers keep voting for this man. Anyway, this thing about kids not being able to eat. I mean, just the thought of it. You know, I think about times now, like when I was in school, when I was in elementary school, and there were kids. You know, back in the 80s, everybody that I went to school with got free and reduced lunch.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I knew what 40 cents was, because we got reduced lunch. It was a quarter, dime, and a nickel. Every day my mother gave me that. And my mother was a teacher and my father had a full-time job. But the school, do you know what school lunch costs now? It's $5+ a day. Okay. So, you know, these programs also provide free breakfast and lunch at schools for kids, not just during the school year, but year round in the summertime too. And a lot of these kids, this is the only meal that they get is when they go to school.
That's right. So when you also think about those numbers that Aisha just said, she said that is $5 for a meal. That's how much the school meal is. Most families on these benefits are living off of $6 a day. That doesn't just mean that one child. It means that family.
Right. Right. And people are, you know, and here's the other part too. It's people are always like, oh, well, people must be getting $1,300 a month and this and this. And the average person gets $240 a month.
There is a congressman, and I wish I would have written his name down. I stumbled across his posts on Instagram, and clearly he was trying to make a point and educate people about just what that looks like. So he decided that for the whole month that he was going to feed himself off of the average amount of what people get on SNAP. And he shared each one of his meals. One of those meals was just a bag of tea and a banana.
Wasn't that Senator Michael Bennet did that?
I believe so. I believe so, but I'm telling you, it's startling, you know, because it's easy for us to throw out numbers. It's easy for us to throw out numbers. but groceries have consistently gone up. The food bills are completely gone up. This one lady posted, she said, out of shits and giggles, because I wasn't thinking about it at the time, I came across a receipt that I had purchased last year, our groceries for the week. She said, so I thought, I'm going to buy the same thing that I bought that week, this week. And it was double.
Yeah.
It was literally double. She didn't deviate from it. She got everything that she always gets. But she said, over time, you just don't think about it. You just go to the grocery, you just pay it. But when you really look at how much food that breaks down to, it's a little of nothing.
Right. And then let's not talk about the food deserts too, because you have places where the grocery store they have is not substantial. There are places in the South, I know this for a fact because I've seen them. There are grocery stores in the South that don't have a fresh food department. So all the vegetables and things that you can get are canned. The meats are all frozen. There's nothing fresh in the store. And then you have people saying, well, you need to eat healthier on how? They can't afford it. And then if you can't get to a farmer's market where you can get lower priced produce and meats and dairy and things, because transportation, you end up at the food desert. Well, guess what? The prices in these food deserts are double what they're supposed to be. So not even for fresh foods, people are paying double for canned goods for the convenience of a store that's not adequately supplied to feed them nutritionally. And when you go beyond that part of it, when people sit here and say, oh, you shouldn't be able to get chips or soda on SNAP. I'm sorry. Have you seen how much a half gallon of juice costs? A 32 48 ounce thing of juice, fruit juice costs. Have you looked at how much orange juice costs compared to a 99-cent bottle of soda? 99-cent bottle of 2-liter soda.
Now look at how that ties into the other policies that this administration is doing with all of these ICE raids and things. Who's picking these fruits down in Florida? Many are rotting. This is all a continuous loop. It's a never-ending nightmare because everything ties in to everything else.
Right. Because these ICE raids, their goal of deporting 1 million people, let's be very clear, 1 million Black and brown people, mostly brown, the people who are here who work on the farms, the food is more expensive because you're deporting all the workers. They're producing less, so they have to charge more. When they produce more, they can charge less. That's supply and demand. Basic
economy 101.
Economy number 101. But he's got this economics expert as his department of secretary. The secretary. Yes.
Scott.
Right. And it's like, wait a second. You should know that. They know that when it's time for their own pockets. This, what's even more gross, and I don't even know another word to say for it. What's more gross about it is that this is the wealthiest administration in American history. There are more millionaires and billionaires in this presidential administration than there have ever been in any presidential administration in history. And those are the people who are deciding whether the poorest people in this country get food.
A word I'm hearing a lot these days is grift. I'm hearing that word all the time now when it comes, a lot of people talking about this administration is just full of grifters.
It's more than grift. People, I mean, it's grift and it's arrogance. It's grift done with an air of arrogance and smugness. These people are also very smug about it too, because they asked this man about SNAP and he says, well, you want to see, I'm redecorating my bathroom.
Baby,
you're not staying there, right? And let me be very clear. I'll say that later, but let me be very clear too. Trump is trying to look for an off-ramp. What the judge said yesterday is that I'm putting a restraining order on you from not giving people their SNAP benefits, because you do have the contingency funds that are supposed to be there to give them the SNAP benefits. And Trump won't do it today, which is the day that most people get their benefits. He won't do it today because he said to the judge, I need you to tell me specifically how to do that. And when you tell me how I can do that, I will do it. Well, they told him, use the contingency funds. They are kicking it down, because I'm telling you, they're going to try and kick this down because they have to. Because now they're 2 weeks out from this whole thing starting over again. So they need to kick it out for that next negotiation.
I need your permission to interrupt because I want to catch up on comments. And that last thing I want to ask both you. So Regina says there are so many evil comments online about SNAP being welfare. I am so sick of this. 85% of the families of the kids in my school district rely on SNAP. It averages less than $200 a month. By the way, Target is laying off 1,800 in higher management. That, you know what? And this is another subject around this too, that we talk about AI, but you know, AI is impacting white collar, not blue collar. And all these white collar people are being laid off may end up having to use SNAP benefits.
Don't forget, we also had a mass firing of government workers who now are also in need.
I'm just saying, and I don't know if you heard, but there was a published report in the last week or so that within the next 5 or 10 years, Amazon is going to let go of 600,000 employees.
Of course they are. Do you know how many friends that I have had work at Amazon? The working conditions are god awful. Once you get to a certain level, they don't want to pay you anymore. So they basically pay you or find reasons to fire you. So now they just have the permission, now that we're under this administration, and the freedom of not even worrying about things, to just say, hey, we're letting you go. Bye.
Right.
So Regina says, Marley McMorrow criticized 47 administration for removing an assurance to maintain SNAP in May on their federal website. Lies again from 47, meaning maintaining benefits even if it is a government shutdown.
Right, because this is the first time that this has ever happened.
And then, when I worked at the homeless shelter as a children's caseworker in the 1990s, yes, Aisha, the Panthers did a great job.
That's why they wanted to shut them down so bad. They did not like seeing success.
They stole their breakfast program for the U.S. Department of Education. To go for U.S. Department of Education to go partner with the USDA to deliver the food and breakfast program in schools. I mean, the other part of it is that my hometown is a city that, regardless, all kids get free breakfast and lunch because of the poverty rate. And that, for me, I'm like, what happens to these? Because it's not the only district in the country that does it, but there are quite a few. What happens to those school districts?
Right.
Because that means no kid is going to get fed.
So Regina also says even canned food prices are up because of tariffs on tin.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Enlightened Beings Love First says, it's so heart gripping. I thought they cared about kids.
No, they care about pregnancy.
Mm.
And also, it's not just SNAP. I think people are forgetting WIC. Women, Infant, and Children is also one of those programs. And you know what? They also forget who qualifies for WIC. You could actually have a very good full-time job and then have a baby that needs a special formula, like I did, that costs $400 a week, $200 to $400 a week, because it's like $50 a canister. And if you ever had an infant, they will go through a canister and a half in a day. So, yeah, so people who have those things, your doctor will send you with the note, and you go and say, hey, I've got this. I can't, if I have to do this, it's gonna cut everything. Here, I need this assistance because the formula is too expensive. Baby formula
is the same problem. Why should it be so expensive?
Right. And I think the thing is they've overplayed their hand, because remember, it wasn't just the SNAP thing at first. It was, oh, well, we're going to take away healthcare. We're going to take away this. They have done everything else. The food thing, I think, was their last thing. And they're like, oh, surely Democrats aren't going to want people to starve. Of course, so they're going to come to the table and do what we want them to do. But the more people learn that, wait a second, they don't have to negotiate on this in order for SNAP. That's the part. That is the part that is not, that for them is the problem, right? Even their own people know it. The own people that get SNAP know it. Know that, wait a second, you don't need to negotiate the SNAP part because you've got the contingency funds. Now, granted, it costs $8 billion a month to fund SNAP. They're supposed to have about $6 billion in the fund. So they'll be able to give people some of their benefits, not all, but someone has raised this point, and it's worth thinking. Are they stalling because there's no money in the fund? Because Trump is doing a lot.
Where did it go? Where did it go?
Trump is doing a lot of spending and not accounting for it. Where did they get the extra money that ICE needed? Remember, ICE, she spent her entire budget by March.
From his tariffs. Maybe from his tariffs.
But remember, tariffs aren't coming from other countries. We're paying them. So where's the money coming? So where's the money going? But the other part too is, remember, those tariff deals, those products haven't even started really coming in
They're
yet.
frameworks, all these frameworks.
Exactly, they're frameworks. But the money that's there, where is it? What's the accounting for it? And how come when Democrats in Congress ask for an accounting, which is their job, because the House does control the purse strings, they're telling them, we don't have to give you that information. Well, the only thing I can think of then is that you are stealing it.
Thank you. There you go. Shakalaka.
Because, I mean, all of a sudden, how did Don Jr. get $586 million in deals in less than a month? So now his net worth has bounced to what, like almost 800 million? Come on now. There's money coming from, the money is being taken from everywhere. Cash Patel, where'd they get the $173 million for him to fly on that plane to see his girlfriend perform? Kristi Noem, who's paying her rent? Who's paying the rent on this palatial estate that she's now staying at?
And the 2 private jets that were just purchased for her.
Right. Where's that money from? I am willing to bet that when all this is over, we'll find that they were using the contingency funds for all these things, because there's a contingency fund for everything. Let's be very clear. That they're taking the money from the contingency fund and using it like petty cash.
Well, that was the whole part of how Musk came in and was able to ransack everything in there and find out where money is, who's in control of it, who's getting it, who's not. That was a part of the plan. And so now they've got it, and they're free spending.
And think about it this way. You laid off 350,000 Black women. So you haven't paid those salaries in months. Where'd all that money go?
Exactly.
All this money that Elon Musk says he saved, where is that? Feed people. That's why they're accounting oh my God, I feel sorry for the forensic accountants that will have to go through all of these budgets. Because guess what? You want to talk about a generation to fix something? It's going to take a generation just to sort that stuff out.
Yeah.
I just think, and we're not even going to talk about health benefits, because that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
Because I've been reading some reports on how much people's health insurance has skyrocketed.
Oh, but see, today the exchange opened. So also on top of not getting SNAP, a lot of people are learning today that it's open enrollment, that their healthcare costs, their premiums are going to be 20 to 80% higher.
Yet politicians are still getting their paychecks, and the rest of America is still waiting in line for their stuff. Listen, we can always.
And the president was great gassing it up last night.
Right. We can always find money for wars and tax break for the wealthy, but feeding people, this shouldn't even be a debate.
There you go.
Right.
There you go.
And that's the bottom line. And honestly, the sad part, we have to bring it back to this point, because if we don't, it will be the thing that gets missed. This country has tried many times to have universal health care. We've tried many times to have livable minimum wage. We've tried very hard to have things where, like, a basic household minimum, right? The reason, what always happens is that when they bring these bills up and they mention doing these things, what happens is the white people in this country turn around and ask, well, do the black people get it too? And it's like, well, no, it's for everybody. Well, then no, I don't want it. Their desire to not want someone to have something so bad, people they don't even know, outweighs their desire to have nice things for themselves and their families.
You know, it just cracks me up that these people decide that they're going to tell you what you can and cannot eat or can and cannot have. You know, they have this rumor around that, you know, people on these benefits are buying steak and lobster and all these luxury food items, and that's not the case. There's no.
That sounds like a trope.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's what it is.
Before we close out on this, I also want to, you know, we didn't get a chance for you to talk about it. I'm going to read a little bit of an article about the increase in healthcare in America as of today. So this is an article from the BBC, I think a trustworthy news source. So I'm going to read a bit of it. Millions of Americans brace for healthcare insurance costs to spike. This is written 5 hours ago, so it was written November 1st. Americans are expected to see skyrocketing healthcare prices as the open enrollment period for insurance through the Affordable Care Act marketplace begins on Saturday, today. About 24 million people buy health insurance through the marketplace, the majority of whom used to receive tax credits to lower the monthly price of insurance. Without credits, the monthly cost could rise by an average of 114% on average, according to health research nonprofit KFF. This could mean an extra $1,000 a year, and in some cases, much more. So I'm going to scroll down. They say Democrats have demanded healthcare subsidies, which expire at the end of the year, be extended in exchange for ending the month-long federal government shutdown. Republican leaders have argued the health insurance issue should be dealt with separately and after the government reopens, though some conservative lawmakers have expressed concerns with the subsidies ending. For those who have previously made use of the tax credits, new costs could be a shock. One case here, Stacey Cox and her husband were small business owners in Utah, red state, were paying $495 a month for health insurance. Ms. Cox says that without the tax credits, their monthly premiums are expected to rise to $2,168, a 338% increase.
Yeah. Yeah. And remember, Donald Trump had 4 years to come up with a healthcare plan. 4 years when he wasn't president to come up with a healthcare plan. Because he didn't come up with one the 4 years that he was president prior. Right. And remember back then it was every 2 weeks. In about 2 weeks, we're going to release our healthcare plan. And like Marjorie Taylor Greene basically just told the truth. The Republicans don't have a healthcare plan. We never have that. We've never had a healthcare plan. As long as I've been in Congress, I haven't seen a Republican healthcare plan. So with that revelation, they're sitting here thinking that, they can wait, they can outlast Dems to negotiate. But the truth of the matter is the people know now. That people know now you don't have a healthcare plan. So what is there to negotiate on?
Before we go to our next,
remember, Mike Johnson said that we can negotiate because we have a plan.
Right. That's right. Oh my God, that's right.
LaLa, I'll leave you the final comment on this conversation. Is there anything you want to add?
No, other than this is absolutely disgusting. This is nothing but gaslighting at its finest. As you can see, many families and many people are suffering with the basic need of food. And the fact that people are partying in their $1 million plate parties last night dressed up in costumes shows that they do not care about the people. And the people, once again, and you're going to hear me say this every show because I truly mean it. When the people get tired and the people decide that they're all going to unify, this is when we're going to see a change. It's not going to be pretty and it's not going to be overnight. But every single day we are seeing more and more people who are absolutely seeing the dystopian thing that they're putting out there and their spreading of their lies. It's the same principle of let them eat cake. And we all know what happened to Marie Antoinette.
So you know what? And you are so wonderful because you have done a great segue into our next conversation piece. So let's introduce it, our next conversation piece, because LaLa just did it so wonderfully. So let's play.
Many Americans are looking to take part in a mass economic blackout.
Okay, so we've got it. But before we get to, I think there's 2 more comments here. So Regina says it's a class war. And Aisha says Atlanta put a moratorium on rent and water bills because of the loss of SNAP benefits. Thank you for that update, Aisha, very, very much. All right, let's get to it. LaLa, let you take the lead. Many Americans are looking to take part in a mass economic blackout. Go for it.
So many people have been asking about what's next, and they've been asking about what's next about the No Kings protest. First, I want to give a little context of how this is what's next. As you remember, the first turnout for the No Kings, they call it No Kings 1.0, was a pretty huge turnout. That's nothing to sneeze at. But it also gathered more momentum for No Kings Day 2.0, which we all know was extremely historic. So now we are seeing what comes next. The marching does work, but marching without a purpose or a plan is absolutely mute and nothing. So the next step is that we show them the power of we the people by controlling our spending dollars to show them just how powerful we all are. We have seen that this does work in this modern day. We know it's happened in history. We may be slow on the uptake of remembering what history did, the Montgomery bus boycott. However, Target is suffering, and so are many other companies that are suffering. Target is really begging basically for Black America to come back to spend. This is just one example of just how important our $1 trillion spending is in the Black communities. So they're asking for us, and I think it's very reasonable on what they're asking for. And let me also say, this is not, when I say they, this is not just a one organization call. Many organizations, Black, white, brown, yellow, what do you say, red and yellow, Black and white, all of them have decided, we're going to put our egos aside and we're all going to come together within our communities to do this together. So they're talking about the economic blackout, which is supposed to be between the dates of November the 24th and that full week of like December 5th. The full week of that, where we do not spend except for in small communities or small businesses or Black-owned businesses, none of the big things. And that's a lot for a lot of people to do. But notice they did wait until after Thanksgiving. So you do have that time. So they're asking you not to participate in Black Friday, which is one of the biggest things that retailers want you to spend on. They don't want you to do Cyber Monday and Online Tuesday. They want you to really and truly focus your money. Not only are they asking you not to shop or stream on many of those platforms like Amazon and Disney and all of those things, and we saw that we heard Disney, they're also asking that if you can, if it's at any way possible, maybe you have some vacation time, whatever, to not go into work during that week to show them the power of the people. This is a peaceful way to flex our power, because if the economy runs on our dollars, what happens when we stop spending them? So even if it means that you stay home for maybe one day, maybe not the full week, it will have an impact. So we're asking for that full week-long boycott over the holidays, because that's when it hurts the most. So this isn't about chaos. This is just what is next. It's about coordination, because when the leaders stop listening and we give them that economic silence, it's stronger than a protest. So I, for one, am telling you right here, right now, that I will be participating in that. I will not shop, although I have never shopped Black Friday or anything like that. I will make sure that I find small things and small Black-owned companies within my community, women-owned, that I will use for anything that I need that week. Because I'm going to be all honest with you, Christmas is not what it used to be for me and my family. It's not about giving gifts. I'm not worried about spending for gifts. We don't do that in our family anymore. But my dollars count for anything that I need. So no, I will not be shopping any of those, and I will be participating in this blackout. And I encourage you to do the same.
I want to add to that by saying, the one thing that I caution people not to do, because this will be the tendencies, like, oh, I have to do all of my shopping before the boycott, which doesn't prove the point, which doesn't make the point. Guess what? There will be time to shop for Christmas after. There will be. Make the point first. Because I know the tendency is like, oh my gosh, let me get everything I need to get before then. And then this way, I don't have to, I can not shop. Well, they got the money beforehand. So I want to make a point that be mindful of that. But again, shop for what you need. If you have to shop, but get things, like LaLa said, go to your local businesses, go to the mom and pop stores if you can. And remember, if you can't, you can still get those places online.
That is not Amazon.
A lot of those places
directly to them
online. Like and I want to see this. Like, for example, this will hearken to our Snap Talk. But there is a Black farm in Detroit. Well, it's not a farm, it's a garden in Detroit. He's feeding the community right now, but you can buy groceries, you can buy produce from him right now. he gave all of what he had in stock away, but you can actually buy credit. And so it's greenbootsgarden.com, which I saw this, I heard him on Black Radio talking about this. I mean, fresh fruits like yams, potatoes, all your produce, right? Basil, things like that. So I encourage you to go to small places like that if you if you can, because honestly, when they see the money is not going to the, when you know what, people, they want to take us back to the 1950s. LaLa shared this the new Labor Department recruitment ads, right? They want it, and the designs are so 1950s. They want to take us back to the 1950s. Well, you know what? Let's go back to that part of the 1950s where the mom and pop stores were the places that we patronized. Let's go back to that part, because I promise you, the same people who are talking about they want to go back to the 1950s do not want to go back to that part. That messes with their money. So let's go back to that part. Like, for example, even there's a Black-owned protein drink place. They sell protein drink packets and powders in Black flavors like banana pudding and sweet potato pie. And so, support businesses like that. I just bought Black Girl Vitamins. They have PCOS vitamins for polycystic ovarian syndrome. So I'm looking to do that. And also too, we'll have to find that website that Joe gave us, LaLa, that listed all those different Black markets in different, they sold different spices and things, because this particular website is a host site for a lot of independent Black-owned businesses, and it breaks it down to housewares, cleaning products, clothing, beauty products, food things, dishes, things like that. Shop with these people, because you can buy gifts there. You know what? Etsy. There are a lot of independent sellers on Etsy.
I've got some beautiful things off of Etsy.
Me too. And, eBay is trying to move in the Amazon threshold. But you know what, though? Also makes nice gifts for people. People love retro memorabilia things that aren't brand new. My daughter, I found for her one year she loves Michael Jackson. I found a Michael Jackson poster, original from 1984, right? And got that on eBay. So you have to be creative this time of year, but you can do it. We can do it. Support those mom and pop, support the independent sellers, support the resellers, make them hurt.
And with that being said, I love that you said be unique, because there is another way that you could be very unique. You need to understand that we have been conditioned for these days. That doesn't necessarily mean that that day is the only day that you have to celebrate these holidays. Right. So, it's just a symbolic, December 25th. But there's nothing in the rule books that don't say that you can't celebrate that now, or you can't celebrate it after that date. And that's when everything goes on sale. And that's when everything. And you know what? Why not get back to the family basics of just spending time with family? Because now more than ever, especially with the Black communities, when they are erasing our history as much as and fast as they can, this is the time where all the young babies need to be sitting around Grandma Paul and the TTs and the uncles that truly need to be listening to our family history. There is nothing wrong with getting back to basics. The consumerism of these holidays is what they want you to believe is what the holidays are all about. But you need to get back to the basics of what it truly means. Now, in my family, we've celebrated sometimes we're like, let's go to Salt Lake City this time. And we've celebrated in January, when the tickets were lower or whatever. So just understand that sometimes you may have to think out the box, because it's actually the feeling and the love of the holiday and not what you put in somebody's stocking.
Yeah. And, there are other things that you can do. Like, one thing that we did 3 years ago that I would tell anybody, do this as a family activity. Get a family portrait done. Invite all the aunts, uncles, grandbabies, everybody together and do a family portrait. Everybody bring a dish and you can eat afterwards and just, be together as a family. But do a family portrait and celebrate that way. There are local photographers you can find, to take pictures and stuff. Again, that's putting money into your local economy, not these big things. And it's something. Then when the pictures come back, give everybody a nice frame.
Yeah.
Which they have beautiful ones that people make on Etsy and things like that. Give them a nice frame and give them the picture, because those things also mean as much as gifts. Because if everybody chips in on paying the photographer, that's the Christmas gift.
Yep.
That's the Christmas gift to the family,
So LaLa, with this upcoming boycott, what would be a mark of success in regards to this boycott?
A mark of success would be the shift in our mindset to really understand that we, the people, are just that. We are the people, and not these so-called people who are up in Washington who no longer serve the people. That is the whole purpose. What we accomplish is we show them the power of the people.
Got it. All right. Next conversation piece. Let's put it up. All right. This one, the more I know, the less I understand. Here we go.
Our next story is Trump directs the Pentagon to resume nuclear testing for the first time since 1992.
And she don't look happy about that.
I'm not either.
All right. So who wants to kick it off on this one?
This is really an easy story. It's one of those things where monkey see, monkey do. Putin did his test, and Trump's got to show that he's big and bad too, and doing his and do one. That's what this really is. It's not about, because he's talking about, oh, now we got to do this and this to build up our nuclear. You don't want that man to touch anything nuclear, okay? You don't want him to direct anything nuclear, because he's an unstable human being. He's unstable and he's unserious. But the thing about this that is serious is that where are they going to do this testing?
Thank you.
There's only one place they can do it.
Right.
In Nevada.
Right. Do you know the people in Nevada are still trying to recover from the nuclear testing the first time? First nuclear testing, like back in the day, nuclear testing.
And there are people who are still living with the ramifications of that.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about environmental, which is in ground and the cleanup and everything. And food, because what grows in the soil? There you go.
Don't forget that gets spread to the rest of us when they start to export the food products to the other states.
Exactly. So
forget, air doesn't just hover over a state and stay there. It moves. Okay. So whatever they put in the air is going to move and have an impact far greater than just Nevada.
So, outside of the scariness of this, because we do all understand now what nuclear means. We've seen it. We know it. We've seen the ramifications. We've heard the story. We saw the documentation. I want to come at it at an angle of economic danger for us as well, because we are still talking about a government who is spending on so many things that make no sense whatsoever, yet they're still punishing the people. So each test that they do it could cost about $1 billion each time they test a cloud. So when you factor in like the tunnels that they have to dig, the safety that they have to look at, which let's be very honest, they could care less about any of the safety anymore. All safeties on everything that we have now are being pulled back. The cleanup, and the international monitoring, because don't forget that this is a worldwide thing when we do that. So when we're setting up this new testing program, that's about $5 to $10 billion minimum. And we are already on track to spend about $946 billion over the next decade on nukes. And historically, we've only spent about I won't say only, God knows, when you start a word with a T, 5 trillion since 1940. So
can you say that other number again, LaLa? I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can you say that other number again? The 5 what?
The 5 trillion. We've spent 5 trillion historically since the 1940s on nukes.
But you said for this one, he's about to spend how much billion?
Oh, 5 to 10 billion minimum.
And he announced this the same week that there's a contingency fund that has $6 billion in it, and he had to ask for direction from the contingency fund.
Exactly. So you read my mind, because you ready for this stat? One test could fund a month of food benefits for SNAP for every family in America, not just the ones that are on this. So you can't claim that there's no money for bread when you're budgeting billions for bombs. This restarting of this nuclear testing is nothing but my dad used to call it cock stroking. And I know that sounds crazy because it is, because we grew up on the farm. So when the roosters wanted to do something and he wanted to impress the people, he would strut. And he would strut around the hens. And this is exactly what Trump wants to do. This doesn't make us safer. It doesn't make us greater. It puts us all in danger. And it signals an arms race. And who's paying for all of this? The ordinary taxpayers. We're going to foot the bill, not only just in money, but in body.
Mm. And then this goes to our next conversation, but this starting of nuclear testing should really scare us behind what the escalation of things in Venezuela. Because if he's bombing the boats in the water,
okay, so let's go. Let's
put a bomb in Venezuela.
Okay, so let's hold and let's just see. We got a comment here. Aisha says, they got no money for bread, but they got bread for money for bombs. All right, let's go to our final conversation piece before we wrap it up today, and we'll get an introduction of it right now.
Is Trump getting the U.S. to conduct war with Venezuela?
Go ahead, ladies.
Which this is with the last conversation should concern us for this reason, because here we are bombing boats in the ocean, the middle of the ocean. First of all, it's not even, remember, the ocean is international waters. They're not even our waters, first of all, for us to be doing this. That's first thing. But second of all, they're saying it's behind fentanyl coming from Venezuela. Well, the fentanyl is not coming from Venezuela. It's coming from two places. They're saying China and Mexico. So why are these boats? And remember, a lot of these boats have Black Venezuelans on them, Black people on them. These boats are not people. They're supposed, most of them, when you listen to the families of the people who are the dead, are fishing boats. They have no evidence. And this goes back to the conversation. I think we had this conversation last week about the two people that did survive the attack.
Mm-hmm.
If they were smuggling drugs, that is a crime, right?
Yeah.
You didn't arrest them.
There
Why
you
did
go.
you arrest them? You put them back. Well, the only reason to send them back is because you're trying to shut them up. There is something nefarious going on with these bombs in the waters, and this president keeps escalating. And the reason that they keeps doing this is because he's trying to be able to declare a war with Venezuela and try to flout Congress for it. And people are like, you have to go to Congress to declare war, not if I can say X, Y, and Z, which is true. And but you can't provoke the conditions for you to be able to say that. And that's what he's doing with these bombs. He's trying to provoke a situation that would justify the response that he's going to have. And let's be clear what is behind his angst with Venezuela. That is a foreign country. That is not our business, how they govern themselves. However, he seems to think that because they didn't put the president that he wanted his dictator homeboy into office, they're an enemy and we need to go to war with them.
And then don't forget also, because I think people forget this because, you know, we get so much crazy news out of Washington. But I want you to be, I'm going to refresh your memory on the fact that he said it in front of a press conference asking someone, so like if we're at war, can we not have elections? Is that a reason that we could not have elections? And they said, yes, technically. Oh, so technically, if we're at war, then we cannot have elections. That's what this is about. Everything that he does, every single thing that he does is to keep him in power and to make sure that he does not lose power with our next elections that are coming up. Because, you know, we have elections every 2 years, well, like y'all keep acting like we only have a presidential. Listen, he does not want these next elections coming. So he's going to do everything that he can because there's so many people that want change now, even from his own cult, because they are being affected at this, that they are afraid that we're going to flip a lot of things. So don't get it twisted. My man still got elections on his brain.
Oh yeah, and let's be very clear why the things that he's doing with the National Guard and with ICE and trying to build his own army through ICE and seeing what they're doing. Those are the people that he's going to call, because in 2028, we're going to be at this point where this man, because see, a 90,000 square foot building is not going to be built in a year.
Nope.
Bathroom renovations might be finished by the summertime. This is not someone who plans on leaving. And
Nope.
I'm really tired of people saying, well, we have a 22nd Amendment of the Constitution that says this. He has been flouting the Constitution since he got back in office. That man does not care. He is building this ballroom. Remember when power was starting to shift, where did the Nazis go? To the ballroom.
Yeah, right to the ballroom.
They went to the ballroom.
What was underneath the ballroom, Aisha?
Huh?
What's underneath the ballroom?
The bunker where Hitler committed suicide. What's underneath the East Wing? The bunker. And we can hope. But when you go to
LaLa, what LaLa, what's going on? What's up with LaLa? Talk to us.
She caught the slide thing that I said. I'm not gonna say it again. She got the slide thing that I said, but the bunker, but this ballroom here, we saw what happened on January 6th. Do you not think that same thing's not going to happen outside the ballroom when he has to be removed? Because here's the other thing that I'm thinking of. When all this shifts, because remember, if there is a Democrat that is elected in 2028, his biggest fear comes to pass. All his court cases that were put on hold go back into effect.
Yeah.
And then he will be investigated for what he did this 4 years that we're living through now.
They all will.
And he knows it's going to be that. And they're all going to go to the ballroom. But this man is not planning on leaving.
Yep.
He's naming
the house like that
after himself. He's naming the ballroom after himself. He does not plan on leaving. And if you think that the bathroom is the only renovation he's going to do to the White House is not going to even look the same by the end of this man's presidency, because he is really trying to not leave.
It is so gaudy.
So enlightened beings, Love First says numbers.
It looks like C-3PO exploded in the Oval Office. It just hit me. That's what it looks like. I'm sorry, Dr. Vibe.
No problem. Just numbers I can't even fathom. Also, Dr. Tachi is in the house, says hello all. Ladies, do I have a permission to add just one more story?
Yeah.
Okay. This one, we missed it in our prep, but here's another one. U.S. will limit the number of refugees to 7,500 and give priority to white South Africans.
Okay, what's to this story? We already know that this was the plan. Didn't
right.
you?
And why would white South Africans want to come here when where they live, they control like 70% of the land and have so much power still? That to me is ridiculous because he doesn't know how South Africa is. He knows what Elon Musk told him. The man doesn't research. He loves propaganda, and guess what? He's also easily fooled by deep fakes. How do we know this? Because he shared a deep fake of himself with some kind of giving some free hospital bodies or whatever the thing was a month ago. Remember that?
Yeah.
He shared a deep fake of himself doing something that somebody had to say, yo, it's a deep fake.
I also want to bring up the fact, Dr. Vibe, that no one is really talking about, and I have been following this story pretty closely. Remember, he did let in some South Africans already.
Yeah.
They're not thriving in America. Many of them are depressed. Many of them are upset, and many of them lied to get over here and said that they were in certain professions and that they would be able to come over and contribute to society. And then when they got over here and they found out that they weren't anywhere near those professions that they need, and all they said was, but we can learn. Also, there are many Americans that don't agree with this. So the communities that they have put these white South Africans in are also shunning them too.
Wow.
They're not being very welcomed.
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
And I mean, the funny thing is that the U.S. is going to limit. It's not the number. I need for Americans to be very scared, because if this man is not planning to go and he's limiting the number of refugees to 7,500, let me tell you something. If you're an American and you want to leave, don't be surprised when other countries limit the number of Americans they will take in.
True. Yeah, that. Dr. Tachi says they are trash anyway, so that's what they get.
Right.
But
this is, I mean, but he calls a refugee what he considers let's be clear too, what he considers a refugee. The white South Africans are not escaping bloodshed. They're not escaping famine. They're not escaping war. They're not escaping any of the egregious conditions that people who are typically what we think of as refugees are trying to escape.
That's true. Very, very true.
They're leaving one comfortable space for another.
This tells you who, and of course, the media, because of all the things. So this story is just slid onto the radar, but it just tells you who his preference is.
Well, also too, you have to remember when it comes to mainstream media, the people that own those outlets, they were all at his Great Gatsby dinner last night.
Of course. Hey, as someone says, the grift economy. Pay for access. I
think it's more than a grift right now. This is really a puppet economy.
Oh yeah, very much so.
Because the hand that they're putting up the back of this puppet is money.
And let's not forget, the puppets behind him. There is a lot of stuff we didn't talk about today, baby. That, if we kept talking about what's going on in the world, just the whole world of the JD Vance thing that's going on right now. We are seeing so many things that are coming full scale, and we told you. That's all I gotta say is we told you, because I've now downloaded once again Project 2025, and I go to the checklist and go check.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's exactly where we are. I'm pretty sure we're well over 50% now.
Oh yeah. And the scary part about what you just said, we're actually, they think they said they like 70% of it accomplished. The scary part is that I went back to it too. And the thing, we've said this before, is that you want Trump out of there, but you're afraid of what's behind him.
Mm-hmm.
And what's behind him is JD Vance. And you got to look at who JD Vance is cozying up to. It is bad. It's worse. That's what's so bad, is that this is horrible, but it's gonna be worse.
Yeah, it's a never-ending nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Never-ending story. That song. Dr. Tachi says, this is why you cannot trust the mainstream media. It follows we probably never could, but this is even more so the case now.
Whoever owned the Washington Post before should never have sold it to Jeff Bezos. Just because somebody has money and can offer you money doesn't necessarily mean you should take it.
Which, by the way, and this is a great point to bring in some good news. The Root is now Black owned again.
Yeah.
Tyler Perry has also purchased BET and VH1. So it is Black owned. Yes.
Is that confirmed?
You know what? I will not say that. I do know that it is.
I don't know about that one.
But you know what they're losing though, Gen X? MTV shuttered all of its music.
Sure did.
All right. So, because I've been hearing rumors about, I don't think I don't think that's been confirmed. It's been rumored in the past, but I don't think it's happened yet. And
but look for it. And the reason I say this too is because Byron Allen is losing money right now.
Okay.
And he's if I recall, one of his networks he had to drop.
Right.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear that.
Or one of them that he bought isn't doing what it should be. Because remember, he tried to buy the Black owned. There was like there's a Black news channel, which actually I liked back in 2022.
Yes,
but he bought it, but as a trio, but there's nothing on it but like Jefferson's reruns and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he hasn't been able to change it into what he said he would.
All right. That's a wrap, ladies. As always, thank you for taking your time on a non-newsworthy week where there's nothing happening, like that old show, What's Happening, on TV. But as always, we want to thank you for taking your time and hanging out with us today. But important, we want to know where we can get a hold of you. So first out, LaLa in the house.
Well, I've got an easy way to find me, but today I really want to focus on something that could possibly help you. If it's not for you, then share it to other people. We've got 41 million hungry citizens. We have a shutdown that's strangling the working class. We have 1 million plate galas for the elite. We have a nuclear arms race on deck and whispers of a war with Venezuela. In the meantime, we need to make sure that we take care of one another. So on my Facebook page, and you can find me at LaLa Key on Facebook, I have a post that is a whole resource of people helping and coming together as a community to post where you can go to donate food or to also participate in these programs if this is if you're a struggling family that needs to put food on the table. Please go to my Facebook page at LaLa Key. And if you don't need those services, but you know of one in your area, please share on that thread where people can get help. So I urge you to please do that. Let's all be the light for this holiday season. Happy November.
Thank you. Next up, Aisha K. Stuggers.
Those are all the places you can find me on the screen. But I'm like LaLa. I had a different address to give you actually. It was greenbootsgardens.com. greenbootsgarden.com, like I told you guys, but also to the organization that I've been supporting throughout this snap is the Connecticut Food Share, and donating through connecticutfoodshare.org. You can give monetary donations, or you can or you can like send, if you're local, send food donations to them. They're feeding people in this, particularly in the poorest of cities. are people like us. So that's.
Thank you so much. Fantastic. All right, let's do this here now. So if you want to get a hold of me, simple, one easy link, taplink.cc/the Dr. Vibe Show. Everything you want to get in touch with me, etc., etc. And we're working on some other AI stuff so that when you go to a link, you can get, if you have questions, they can be answered in real time. And also, you can watch replays of this show on the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and the Dr. Vibe Show website, the drvibeshow.com. Also have another comment here. Enlightened Being says, fabulous show, always makes my work night better. We are speaking enlightened beings that this situation gets resolved sooner than later, so you get your back pay that you so richly deserve. Got it. Also want to shout out earlier on, Soraya Machada Powell was checking this out on LaLa's Facebook page. Okay, I think that is it for today. And as always, we like to say this, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller, get stronger. Block assumptions, aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourselves grace. And if you're not making money, make history. Try to do both. And as always, make it better. I have one last comment here. Let's see what's going on here. Dr. Tachi, thanks. Great show. Right back at you, Dr. Tashe. All right. We are done. There we go. We are done. So as always, God bless. Peace be well. Peace be well. Keep the faith and walk good. And take care of yourself. And remember, don't just manage your time, manage your energy. And also remember to give yourself grace and take care of yourselves, especially during these turbulent times. Be well and keep the faith.
To understand how afraid I am of any member of the rodent family that's down to squirrels and chipmunks. Okay? I cannot stand all members of the rodent family. Rabbits, bunnies, no. What else is going on that day? I mean, is there something we're supposed to be doing?
Why are you going there? Why are you going there? You know I'm going to ask you. It falls the same day as the inauguration of the new president.
The what? Excuse me? I'm sorry?
So in other words, Monday.
So onesies. Now, folks, don't ever think you're going to see us all on a show with onesies on. Don't do that.
You might see me. You might see me.
You'll see me and LaLa, because we oftentimes wear ours.